do we begin to stop this? I know it's a big conversation and it probably spans outside of sports, Chuma, but we're bringing it closer home and talking about sports specifically. But I'm starting to think, off of numerous conversations we've had here, that maybe we've gotten to the point where these players, sportsmen and women, footballers, swimmers, judokas, table tennis players, and everyone that plays sports in Nigeria and achieves feat on the international level, even continental level, have got to start maybe ignoring these financial rewards as a statement to the authorities that we stand in solidarity of previous girls who achieved success and were never rewarded. Now that's something big, because if I'm being offered 150 million naira and I'm saying I don't want that because Patience Avery and the girls haven't taken money, that sends a big statement. But it's also something to be considered. Are you of that opinion that maybe we've gotten there, or maybe there's a better way of passing across this message to the authorities that people who are promised something, especially sports and women, have got to get what they were promised?
It's a Nigerian challenge. You know, there are churches who have events and you see people pledging money. There are also events where maybe it's a book launch or something and you have people pledging money. And eventually they don't redeem those pledges. We've seen that happen time and time again. When society where there's so much of bragging, it's a chance for you to boast and flaunt how wealthy you are. And yeah, I'm not even going to call names here, but we know when the Super Eagles won the 2013 Africa Cup of Nations, there are a few of the richest persons in this country who said one or two things about giving money. And years down the line, we hear that they did not fulfill those pledges. It's same with government. It happened, of course. Examples are plenty as well. It was just in 2023 or 2022 that we saw the pledge of houses to the 1994 set that won the Africa Cup of Nations for Nigeria and were ranked number 5 in the world by FIFA. It was over 20 years after that we saw them eventually get the houses that they were promised after they won that Nations Cup in 1994. They had to wait for what? 2004, almost 2014, and then almost 30 years before they eventually got that. And till date too, the under-17 team of 2013 that won the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, who camped in Cross River State too when they got back, having emerged as world champions, were hosted by the then governor of Cross River State, Lely Moke, and were rewarded with cash and also promised houses. We've had complaints about them at this stage that years down the line, 10 years plus now, after they still have not gotten those houses they were promised. And that sometimes the challenge with this thing is change of leadership too. Leadership changes hands and the new person who comes in doesn't think that it's important to follow up with what the promise was from the previous administration. And so these are all issues. In direct response to your question, Sam, it's tough for me to boycott receiving a financial reward. And there are reasons around this, right? If you are a men's football star, there's some big names, you know, winning bonus in the Super Eagles. We used to hear the points, $5,000 later, $10,000 or so. Let's imagine you're a big player who plays for PSG and you already earn as much as 200,000 euros every week. In a month, you're getting, minus tax and everything, you're going home with as much as 500,000 euros in a month. $10,000 winning bonus for a Super Eagles appearance for you will not mean too much. You can afford to even say, guys, use that and invest into youth football. NFF, I don't want the money. Use it and invest into youth football. Or, okay, give me the money. I'll just dash it to people around or give it to people to support people who are going through so much in the country, because you're earning so much already where you are. But it's not for somebody who's an athlete in Nigeria who doesn't have a day-to-day work that pays him or her some good money, who has to depend on representing Nigeria in the Olympic Games or in the All-African Games or in the African Athletics Championships, and hoping that when he or she wins there'll be some financial reward from the federation. Or a table tennis star. We've had Aruna Quadri even say that it's becoming really expensive now for them, table tennis stars, to travel for all of these international events because they're not getting enough funding. Money has to come from somewhere. So it's a bit easy when you talk about football stars, right? Or basketball stars who are the biggest. If it's a male basketball star who plays in the NBA, your salary is very good to ensure you're okay. When you're a women's footballer, in women's football, the record for the most expensive player is not up to $2 million. It's just about £1 million. I think it was Arsenal, Chelsea had that record. Arsenal to have come into the conversation. That's the record, the highest amount of money they have spent to sign one player. What that means is that the wages for these women footballers, same with women basketballers, their wages are nowhere close to the humongous sums we talk about when we speak about our male football stars or male basketball stars and the likes. and then you now have the pleasure of winning something for your country. Your president wants to host you and tells you he'll give you even $10,000. In this context, 100,000 US dollars. You will not say no, man. That's a life-changing opportunity for you. You go and say no, what happens? People who forget. We're in a country where people forget. You're a star today, we hail you. 10 years after, we've forgotten that you were a star. You want to fly a plane, they will not give you a free access because you were a star. You want to enter a bus or enter a boat ride or something, they're not going to give you free access because you are a star. Oh, you're Sam, you won the Nations Cup for us in 1994. We forget as a people.
Every day is about.
It's even same with what we do as entertainers. You hear people give the advice that while you're still at your hottest level as a music star, make as much money as you can from that time and invest that money, because when you're not dropping the hits anymore like that, people will not celebrate you as they were celebrating you a few years ago. So I wouldn't boycott. I would not boycott and say because you did not honor the previous generation. So I wouldn't get this money that you'll take this money that you're giving to me. And I'm saying that in the context of if I were to be a player for the Super Falcons, because how much do I make at club level? How much am I going to make? Even if you're going to depend on just NFF sharing, which is what NFF should still do, $1 million is what they want as prize money. They would have had an agreement, I can imagine, with the Nigeria Football Federation as to how much each player in the Super Falcons will get having won this title. The max any player can get, even if you wanted to break $1 million to 24 players, that's not even up to $50,000 per person. There are also officials there. So you're going to get, let's say, $20,000 max per person. That's, some good money in Naira terms. But how often are you going to be winning this competition to keep getting that money? What team will go for the next WAFCON and you're not invited to be part of the team? So when you have this privilege of getting this amount of money, you wouldn't want to boycott it. What I'm going to do, and I need to do this very quickly because I know time is running, is, yes, I can speak up and say, thank you so much, Your Excellency, for honoring us. I'm very grateful. But I wish, we can look back at those people who laid the foundation for us. We joke with this line that Two-Face and D'banj and P-Square crawled so that Whiskey, Davido and Burna Boy walk, and then those ones set the pace for Rema and Omale and Co to now run, and then these ones are setting the pace for some other ones to fly and all of that. So you cannot forget where we came from. The challenge with this thing, though, which is where my biggest concern is with this reward from the presidency for the Super Falcons players, is where do we go from here? Is it a one-off, or are we going to have to maintain the same energy when Nigeria wins the Nations Cup later this year? If we win that, when the Tigress, who are going to play against Cameroon in the quarterfinals of AfroBasket tonight, if Nigeria wins that game and we go all the way to win AfroBasket, are we going to get that same reward for them? Because the last time I checked, when the Tigress won the three-peat, they won the AfroBasket title for a third time in a row about 4 years ago. Guess what they gave them? They didn't say per player. What the news was then was that the presidency, the ministry, the Ministry of Sport said, as a way of appreciating you ladies for what you've done, 25 million naira. So my understanding is that 25 million was for the entire team of basketball stars. That's not even a quarter of what one Super Falcons player has gotten from the president now. So where do we go from here? When we have Nigerians go for the World Athletics Championships, which will happen later this year, and win medals, Tobi Amosu wins gold, what would you give her? When eventually we go to the Olympics in 3 years' time, or in 4 years' time, was Paris 2024. So by 2028, we go to the Olympics and we win. What would you give them? That's where the problem is with this. And whether it's one of, under President Olusegun Obasanjo, I know then the rule was handshake, golden handshake. Shaking the hand of the president is enough honor. If you get a national honor to that MONON, amazing stuff. But different leaders have different styles. I get that. However, what this has done is, if Chuma eventually wins and you don't reward him like that, Chuma will start murmuring. And it could lead to, is what some clubs do as to wages, where they have a wage cap.
Cap it, yeah.
Because they know if they pay Samuel $350,000, Chuma is saying, Samuel is in this team with me, I'm scoring goals, you're paying Sam $350, and you're paying me $150. Chuma will start clamoring for $350. By the time you pay Chuma, others will start clamoring for the same thing too. That's where a problem could come from this largesse from the presidency.
Okay. So that's, I did ask, we discussed this on Tuesday with the speech of the presidential spokesman saying those who criticize the president for being so benevolent, they're not being reasonable, knowing that a certain reality TV show in Nigeria gives that same amount for just flexing for 3 months or thereabout and doing nothing. It doesn't bring
money,
national growth. So I had that conversation.
Sector.
I had that conversation with Tony, and we had a bit of a back and forth as to why that should also be criticized. If we say it's private money, yes, this is public funds being dispersed by the man we've entrusted with the responsibility of doing right. And many who say, the private sector should not be given, are saying, the government should be given. So then my question became on Tuesday, are we saying the giving is wrong for certain people and right for others? If it's wrong, then it should be wrong across board, right? That's what I thought. And I tried to have that conversation with it. But you can't tell a man what to do with the money.
Yeah, sure.
You can't. But I still insist that, hey,
I think it was a great thing, honestly. I still feel it's a great thing. But my problem is moving forward, what happens? That's where my worry is.
Should that now...
That's where my worry is.
And I asked the question, generally, should sportsmen and women be rewarded financially? I mean, sports back in the day used to be something. I know people are going to talk about economic realities now.
Yeah.
But back then, sportsmen and women were rewarded. These girls are getting allowances. Let's assume those allowances get paid. And it's good enough money. This was something that was agreed with the association and the players. There's a player union, right? There are representatives, and they agreed this is what we're paying you. If you come to the national team, be it Super Eagles, be it Super Falcons, based on what we get from you in terms of revenue, marketability-wise, then this is what we're paying you, right? You're getting camp allowance on a daily basis. You're getting match allowances on a daily basis. You get winning bonuses as well. When you aggregate that money, the Super Falcons never lost a game. So if they've gotten money every day for being in the tournament, every day for being in camp, and then every day for winning or drawing a match, and extra money for winning the tournament.
That's where the problem is. How much is that money? Maybe Brownie there tell us saying if players that time 7,000-8,000.
We'd say because
so sometimes that money is in quotes chicken change compared to this kind of reward.
Kind of money, right? Because I don't want it to be a situation where it's okay for people to disagree. We said this. It's okay for you to have a different opinion that this is too much and all of that, which is something you've just shared. Now then, how do we go on from here, maintaining that momentum? We can't keep doing that. There's no way that's sustainable.
You've just said it.
There's no way that's sustainable. And I'm sure even the presidency didn't mean that to, be
standard practice.
Yeah, no.
Maybe the argument could be because it was trophy number 10. But it's not like you're the one who won the 10 or 3.
Yeah.
So like I said,
has to take
the Tigers are about to do 5 in a row. If they win Afrobasket, they would have won it 5 times in a row. African champions 5 times in a row. You will not be able to escape from that one.
Are we then saying that the same should be replicated to the Tigers?
Yeah, because they'll say they also represented you two in a continental competition and emerged as African champions as well. It will now be a case of, is one child more important than the other child? And that's where we're going to have issues. That's where my biggest concern is. There are rewards. England ladies who won the women's Euros, we hear they got between $60,000 to $70,000 pounds of dollars.
But the previous, those same girls that won it 4 years ago got less money, and they're not complaining.
They also got something decent to about 50 or so.
But this year's is a lot bigger than it is. No, so if I played for that squad before, let me even go back to previous generations that didn't even get half, that they were just recognized, the Queen of England came out on the balcony, got a handshake. They kept quiet. And I'm not saying the previous generation should not be complaining, but here's a quintessential example, right? There are previous generations of Brazilian players, English players that there was a generation that got only Rolex wristwatch.
Yeah.
Go sell them, take the money. That's all you got. And the Queen waving at you, that's all. They didn't even get a handshake.
Like that, right?
So they're not complaining, right? They're not saying, why are you giving this one 70,000? We started the generation. We started the movement of winning, right? So when we look at it that way, are we now saying these ones or Patience should not be complaining and these girls are deserving for winning only one? Patience won 4.
Yeah.
She won 4.
And how it happened in an era where it was golden handshake that was popular then. That's the thing about life too, time and chance happening, right? It's the same way a record was 18 million for PSG to sign us in Okocha back then. Most expensive African footballer. Now most expensive African footballer is over 70 million. So it's like you saying, Okocha is saying, why did you
you see,
things also move to in life. I think her biggest anger is the fact that her own generation, Patience Avery now, coincided with the time where, because you're giving $100,000 now, right? A dollar now is 1,500 naira or so. Back in Patience Avery's time, a dollar was about 100 naira or so.
That's another angle.
Yeah, if you had given, if you gave Chuma 20,000 in the year 2000, it will feel like more than 200,000 now, right? So maybe Chuma will not complain if you even gave him 20,000. I think their complaint is the fact that it didn't even come as at the standards of what our currency was then. Yeah. They didn't have the opportunity to get too much and invest. Because if they got so much then and invested, that should have counted for their benefit today, right? Sadly, man, the government cannot look. If it was truly, the government wants to go back to everybody.
Everybody go come outside.
Sam, even me and you, we they work. Teacher, they work as well too. How many times have we rewarded teachers away from their salaries and say, this teacher, you had so many students from your school that graduated with A's, or that got first class in the university. So come, let's reward you with a national honor and give you so amount of money. This thing is not exclusive to just sports people. If you want to go, if you want to argue this thing out, but I think, well, they say life no balance, so let's take it like that.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, guys, what do you say? I want us to be very, very, while you're angry, your emotions may run wild, you have to be, it's your responsibility to moderate or put together in a cogent manner what you say when you call in. I'm always going to tell you that you shouldn't be careless with your thoughts. You shouldn't be careless with your statement out of anger. I'm not gonna, take on your emotional carelessness if there's any of that on the show. So be critical. We've given what we think is a case, and I want to be open to what you think about the situation as well. Patience Avre is complaining. We had the conversation about the Super Falcons, if it was good to reward sportsmen and women. An aspect of that conversation is still here today, but with Patience coming out and saying she's commended the president for what he's done for the girls, but saying, hey, there's also us who didn't get anything. We have to go on a break. When we come back, we'll open up the phone lines and hear from you regarding this conversation. Don't forget, there's still transfer stories to come. Ruben Amorim is speaking. He says Man United are better than they were last season. It's a different team. Is he deflecting or deluded? We'll talk about that when we come back from the break.
Catch the I Beg to Differ National Finals live on all Nigeria Info FM and Kids FM stations nationwide. It's intellect, it's passion, it's the future in action. Debate redefined. The IBTD National Tournament begins August 11th, 2025. Only on Nigeria Info FM and Kids FM nationwide. For sponsorship, call 0805-581-5844 or email ibegtodiffer@nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ, the Tournament of Champions.
All right, class, settle down. Today, let's talk about how you started your day.
We got dressed and had pancakes with John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for breakfast.
My mom makes John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for us too.
My mom calls it instant goodness. My sister and I always put it inside our pap. It's so yummy.
John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate is a chocolate drink made of rich cocoa, milk, and sugar. Available nationwide in stores. John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate. Enjoy instant goodness.
Little body, big moves. Little brain, big learning. Your little child is eager to do big things. Every sachet of Cerelac Junior comes with the nutrition they need: natural grains, protein, and iron to support their physical growth, learning, and development. So you can fully enjoy your little one's big moments of growth.
Life can be anything, but make yours a party that never stops. With Desperados, the beer with a Latin vibe. Vibe out, let loose, and turn the heat all the way up. Because with Desperados, the party is wherever you want it to be.
Grab a Desperados and ignite your party spirit. Desperados, beer with a Latin vibe. Enjoy responsibly. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18.
Start your day and have a good time. Oh, where you need to have the break time. If not tea, Papa Garita.
What you're about to taste is so hot, it's got basket mouth singing.
Ninja pepper flavor. Yeah. Me. Ninja pepper flavor. Chris. Heat.
Nothing brings the heat like the bold taste of Mini Me Noodles Naija Pepper Flavor. Try it today and see for yourself. Mini Me Noodles Naija Pepper Flavor. Slap it like it's hot.
I don't know, man. These days, all you hear is save, invest, save, Wait, how do you guys find this money? Is it not someone that is settled that will have money to save and invest? And even if I manage to invest or save, the interest rates are so low. And one can lose money in all these crypto, NFT, blockchain, and so on.
Introducing Fund 724. It's a simple solution to all your money goals. With as low as 1,000 naira or that urgent 2K in your pocket, you can start saving with Fund 724 and earn solid returns on your investment. And you can withdraw your money from your account for free. Anytime you like, just dial *724# on your mobile phone and follow the prompts.
Oh, so no need to download an app or join a long queue.
Dial *724# now to get started. Fund 724 is available 24/7. Guarantee Trust Fund Managers is a subsidiary of Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC and regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
You are listening to your
More conversation.
more news and you are listening to your
More conversation.
more news. You are listening to
More conversation.
more news and you are listening to your
More conversation. I don't know. More
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's game on.
Hello everyone, my name is Esther Okoronkwo and I play for AFC Toronto. We are hanging out with Femi in the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info FM.
We are coming to win. We will carry the couple. Oh yeah, make we go.
Vera.
Packing up in leather. I say make we go. We dey come to play. We dey play to win. Super Falcons na beauty and brain. Repping my.
All right, time to hear from you. 0201 2770993 0201 4657190. We're talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Patience Avre, the former Super Falcon who won 4 African Cup of Nations titles and was part of the squad that got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup for the first time, says she has lauded the benevolence of the President Bola Tinubu for gifting out cash, national honors, and landed properties to the current Super Falcon squad. Did I say Super Eagles? Super Falcon squad, and also called or revealed that her set, who won African Cup of Nations title, never got what they were promised, outside of 300,000 naira. And she's also had some strong words to say about the former NFF president, Amaju Pinnick, who she said asked for their account details time and again, but never came through with trying to give them the money and all of that. Now, let's talk. I don't want to make it a conversation about Amaju Pinnick or the president or anything. I'm asking the question about rewarding, what should be the way of rewarding athletes in any case. And what can be done? Really, what can be done so that we forestall this problem in the future, and looking at what it is by means of because Chuma's just mentioned those basketballers, Falcons player, the Tigress squad, athletes who go for the World Cup, for the Olympic Games. What then happens to them? Let's see how that one goes. 0201 2770993 0201 4657190. Good evening to you.
Crunchy.
Hi there. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Mr. Chuma.
He says hi.
Good evening, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Mr. Samuel.
Yeah.
Yes, if we look at it very well, why did it take her this long?
Yeah.
Before complaining. If we look at it very well, if not because they knew what was given the Falcons recently. I don't know why this reward is not a back and forth of a thing. Because there are some listeners that had said it was too much. It was I not put it to them. If your daughters were to be there, will you tell the president, please reduce my daughter's home? It is too much. And now let's leave that one aside. She took so long to talk. That's one. Then two, during that time, she said they were rewarded with 300,000. Now, Mr. Samuel, you just level that 300,000 with today's money, that means at that time, 300,000, 300 million. Yes, if we start very well. And those are the time the rules are not really that strict. So many times I've scored with this offside. Do you know how many goals I always score with offside? Now the rules are more stricter.
So you're saying it's harder for these ones to win it than easier for those ones to win it back then?
It was easier for them.
They won. That's all that matters.
Well, okay, yes, they won, but it was easier for them then. You can actually, in fact, you can bounce the ball. There was no much foul.
All right, I get your point. Thank you so much, Crunchy Crunch. Appreciate you for calling. Guys, let's quickly go on a break. When we come back, it's just a 1 minute break. When we come back, we'll stick with the phone call.
We are coming to win.
The stage is set, the stakes higher than ever before. Catch the I Beg to Differ National Finals live on all Nigeria Info FM and Kids FM stations nationwide. It's intellect, it's passion, it's the future in action. Debate redefined. The IBTD National Tournament begins August 11th, 2025. Only on Nigeria Info FM and Kids FM nationwide. For sponsorship, call 0805-581-5844 or email ibegtodiffer@nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ, the Tournament of Champions.
Alright class, settle down. Today, let's talk about how you started your day.
We got dressed and had pancakes with John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for breakfast.
My mom makes John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for us too.
My mom calls it instant goodness. My sister and I always put it inside our pap. It's so yummy.
John Vent 3-in-1 chocolate is a chocolate drink made of rich cocoa, milk, and sugar. Available nationwide in stores. John Vent 3-in-1 chocolate. Enjoy instant goodness.
Little body, big moves. Little brain, big learning. Your little child is eager to do big things. Every sachet of Cerelac Junior comes with the nutrition they need: natural grains, protein, and iron to support their physical growth, learning, and development. So you can fully enjoy your little one's big moments of growth.
My ions, please, can't get enough. My ions, please, give it to me now. It gon' rehydrate you, yeah. Replenish your ions with Pocari Sweat. Rehydrate you fast and easy, we observe. Pocari Sweat, give me some more. Pocari Sweat.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
The group chat said, come through with surprises and drama. And you did, with Gordon's in hand.
We'll cling to that.
Gordon's, shall we? Not for sale to persons below the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's game on.
Of Patience Avery's comments. Turn down the volume of your radio set when you call in so we can have a good conversation. Let's talk on Game on. Sam and Chuma here for you. Hello, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Good evening. What's your name?
My name is Charles. I'm calling from Sangota.
All right, Charles, weighing on the conversation.
You know, if you look at it very well, I think she shouldn't have come up with what she said, because it will seem as if she's being envious of this present Falcons. You know, they are luck. And you don't need to wait for a particular set of Falcons to win a tournament, get rewarded, and before you start, okay, they didn't give us this, they didn't give us that. You know that one that they have said. They tried to make Akide, Nkiro, Kosieme, Yinka Kuda. I said that they are golden generation that played in America '99. They won the fourth edition of the WAFCON 4 consecutive times. I'm not trying to downplay their efforts, but I think she shouldn't have. Because no matter how you look at it, it will be as if she's being jealous of what these people did.
But she's lauded the girls. She lauded the girls and said congratulations for keeping the tradition of winning the WAFCON tournament, and also thanked President Bola Tinubu for rewarding the girls, but saying, hey, we weren't so lucky to get that. She's not directing anything at the girls. She's just directing at those who didn't pay them, and she mentioned names.
She will still get back to, they didn't pay us. And again, she made a mistake by naming names. Those people might come out after her and, fire back at her. So, she just used that style to laud the president, but she's still going towards, they didn't give us this, we did this, and, my brother, I think that one don't pass, that kind of thing now.
He don't pass. If now you know go talk, Abi.
Not be now go come the talk, so, when these people don't collect their own pay. Not be now. That
so
kind
when
of
would
thing.
have been the right time to speak? When would have been the right time to speak, in your opinion? Now, I cannot even substantiate if she's been speaking before now. I can't authoritatively say if she's been speaking before now or not. Or maybe some of our teammates have been speaking before now or not. I cannot say that because I don't have that news for you. But I'm saying, when do you think should have been the right time? 4 years later from now?
It was a different government that was in power then. And then the norm was presidential handshake and just...
All right. She should take that as her lot, right? All right. Okay. All right. I'm not sure if I should be happy that you're laughing. I'm not. But hey, I know it's kind of difficult, isn't it, to really come up with the rubber stamp this in any way you want to look at it. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Sam.
Good evening. What's your name?
This is Daniel from Ojo.
All right.
Yeah, for me, the money they give to the Super Falcons is too much.
I don't want to talk about the weight of the money. That's not my conversation today.
I understand what you're trying to say, but what I'm trying to say is personally is that this money aspect is not sustainable.
Okay.
You understand? Why don't we figure out another way of giving our Super Falcons, footballers, or, you understand, sportsmen, different ways?
What should that way be, in your opinion?
Like treatment. Maybe when you go to the hospital, you get maybe a 70% cost. Those kind of things. When you are flying, you get maybe a 50% cost. You understand? When you are taking a bus, when you bring out you understand, like a passport. You understand? Because that one will be sustainable.
But for the Super Falcons team, I get you, but for Super Falcons team, you're talking about that in Nigeria, where most of them, 70-80% of them are based abroad. They don't even live in Nigeria. I mean, then how do they benefit of that?
Yeah, they're abroad, bro. They are making money abroad.
But the victory was for Nigeria.
You know why I'm saying is because so that we won't make mistake again. Because the next president will come, Super Falcons will win this thing. They won't get anything. You understand?
Okay.
So we need to put the things down already for our even sportsmen, apart from sportsmen, you understand, other workers like the soldiers, the army, this kind of things. So that so that we will not be getting there that this president promised this one, this president promised this one. Let's put something in place for the.
Should we reward sportsmen and women with money?
No.
Not at all. Not any form of money.
No.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for calling in. Hello. Good evening to you. Hello. All right. Not ready for me. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Samuel.
Good evening to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Thank you. On to Felix from Ikorodu. Samuel, I feel the pain of that former Super Falcons player. You see, the truth must be told, and there is no wrong time that is wrong to say the truth. Yes, they are feeling what they're supposed to get, and some of those officials are working freely. It's not as if she's jealous, but she's just expressing what they are supposed to get. And it's not too good. Our leaders should always look into these areas of compensating good work and hard work. And that is what she's saying. She's not jealous. It will be good. Even if this present government can reward them, it's not too bad. But they should move on. They should move on and enjoy the time. But those officials that are working freely, and we see them with their appearances everywhere, they should know that they have left scars on these players, unforgettable scars. In short, I will call it an indelible mark that can never be erased from their heart. And it's sad. They are still alive, and they will continue to feel that pain. But good one to the current Falcon. I appreciate them, and they should enjoy the moment as it lasts.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Plenty of your thoughts on WhatsApp, and the phone lines keep ringing. 2 more calls, and then to WhatsApp. Good evening to you. Good evening. What's your name? To you.
Hello, good evening. I'm Roland.
All right, Roland, talk to us. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Aja.
All right.
Actually, the Super Falcons, they should be appreciated for their hard work. Check European players. They are earning well. That was the main reason Nigerian players don't want to come to Nigeria to play, because of ill treatment. If you check them, we're not poor for this country. We are not the poorest nation in the world. Let our government manage our resources properly and help Nigerian youth. If they go other countries like say we poor now, we poor past. Not go well. Let's appreciate ourselves and our.
I feel the guy's pain. I feel his pain.
Yeah, big. All right. Thank you for your call. Quickly to some messages on WhatsApp. As AOAK from Apapa, please can you guys get in touch with the members of the Super Falcons and let's hear from them if the money that has been paid and if they have received the house documents. Thanks. Members of the Super Falcons, you know this thing is a government thing. There are processes to do that. And I'm sure the presidency is trying to ensure that all of these get to them, cutting out some certain bureaucracies, He knows how these things go, so he's just trying to do the best he can. All right, but I'm sure these girls will talk about it. They will.
Yeah, these days. And sorry, Sam. I think that the difference between now and Patient's average generation and even the 1994 set is social media.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big difference. Media. So if Sam sees the governor, and it happens many times, and the governor says, for example, when Godswill Akpabio was governor of Akwa Ibom State, there was that famous line, Noye in Ibibio means give him. You have the pleasure of seeing the governor, and after he's said all the good things you've done, and he says Noye 5 million. And let's imagine that Sam is not given that 5 million. Yes, Sam will not have the privilege of seeing the governor again to report to the governor that you promised me 5 million, sir, and Chuma, your SA did not give it to me. But Sam has power of social media now that he may not have had then to go and tweet and say, I remember last month the governor said they should give me, but this is SA, Chuma has refused to give it to me. That's how with the younger generation now, that tweet will be escalated and the governor will eventually hear about it and do something about it. That's the difference between then and now. That's why I feel that the 94 set that had to wait for almost 30 years before getting their houses. I know that we're still in Nigeria where promises can be made and things are not done. But the fact that people can now express themselves on social media more than it was 30
Back
years
then.
ago, I think gives you a bit of an advantage in this generation if you're promised something this big and this huge and humongous, where the whole country is talking about it. And let's say in 2 years' time, you still have not gotten the house or the 100,000. If you just go tweet, if you, Sam, you even be the smallest person for that team, you just go tweet in 2 years' time now. The house they promised me, they've not given to me. The way Nigerians will jump on it. Again, I know that tweet will not be enough to carry the hand of the government to give it to you. But at least it will get people talking on like what happened to that 94
it's
set.
even difficult that, I mean, God forbid, this doesn't happen with these girls, the 100 million, the cars, the house they don't see. It's going to be very difficult for one of these girls with this current the government now in place to tweet that and talk about it while that government that promised you is in place. I'm sure it's the same thing the patients have suffered then. If they had the opportunity to speak when that government was still in power, you're going to be like, government promise now. Let's trust the government before he leaves office. He's going to try to do that. It's like big man. We joke about this and say, big man promise you 100K.
Yeah.
You won't go to the store and say, oh, guy, nobody send me that 100K.
And it happen. And they know they give. It happens. If you don't promise you finish, you don't even calculate what you want to use the money to. They don't come give you. But since this one has become a national issue, I think there will be so much
Even
pressure
the
on the
government
authorities to
themselves
make
will
this
not.
one
Yeah, they will
for
not
the sake
want
of this national
mess
issue
up.
that it's turned
But
into.
it puts the girls in a very difficult position, really. I want to understand that they cannot even talk. I'm sure they're checking like, that money never drop. But you can't talk because you want to believe it will come when it will come.
And if you had to, maybe you now talk and you're not in the team next time they're going to the World Cup or something like that. But they've been promises fulfilled. I remember again asking Brownie there.
Plenty of that.
When Nigeria won
Plenty of
AFCON
those
2013, the Cross River State government fulfilled its promise with the land and all that. He said they did. It was more of the individuals who promised money. So those individuals, rich people who did not now give theirs after making the promises. But they were able to get, he said he had secured his property in Cross River, for example, which was one of the promises he got from the state governor then, or they got from the state government after they won the Nations Cup in 2013. So there have been promises fulfilled, but they've also been promises that took decades before they were kept. And they're the ones that have still not been fulfilled till now, like the 2013 on the 17 World Cup winning team.
All right, so let's hope that the girls get what they deserve. Whether you think it's excessive or not enough, let's just hope they get that so we don't have to come back here 4 years, 5 years and repeat what Patience Avery is speaking. Imagine multiple generations or sets of the Super Falcons talking about promises that weren't kept for them. All right, let's go over to the foreign scene and talk about Manchester United. Ruben Amorim says United are better than they were. It's a different Manchester United team. That's what he's had to say about after they won in their preseason 4-1 against Bournemouth. And a United fan here in the office, Chuma Israel was speaking about United are back. Now Bournemouth they beat us 3-0 normally for league. Bournemouth beat them home and away last season, but they won in preseason. And like Israel, Ruben Amorim says, we're back. We're back. It's a different team. They have 2 new signings in the squad in Brian Bemu and, of course, Mateusz Cunha. Talks about Benjamin Sesko coming into the club as well. Andre Onana is out for the start of the season. So, yeah, it does look like a different Man United team, but the blood's still the same, isn't it?
I think unlike those first teams we spoke about at the start of the show, it's tough to want to beat your chest and say it's a different United team. Honestly, it's tough. I spoke about how for Arsenal, the only major miss I'll say they have is Partey leaving and then see how many they've brought in. For Man U, there are many. Even though all of these guys felt like they were excess requirement from the start. Anthony will have to look for a new place to go to. Jadon Sancho doesn't look like it's clicked enough for him. The list goes on and on. Garnacho will have to leave as well too. You spoke about Andre Onana being injured at the start of the season. It's not like he was the best in the world for them last season though. And so where the goal is going to come from? Yeah, Højlund scored in the friendly fixture. But where the goal is going to come from for Manchester United? Is their defense stringent enough to weather the storm of the quality of Arsenal and Liverpool next season and even these smaller sides? I'm worried about that. The good thing for Amorim is the fact that he now has a summer to build a team compared to what he met the last time, which is why I think he will have an edge. But in the discussion of teams that will be in contention for winning the title, with all the respect to Man U, as things stand now, I don't think they're in that conversation for now.
Okay. Let's go on another break. There are plenty of transfer stories coming through. We'll be talking about United as well, and Tottenham going in for Paulinia, the former, Fulham guy. They could be landing him. He could be returning back to the Premier League for Tottenham Hotspur. Looks like Spurs and their manager are doing big things ahead of the new season. We'll be right back very, very shortly.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.